I get a lot of people ask me, especially younger people, or even really all the way up to 40, 50 years old, but how should I start? How should an 18-year-old start? People that are interested in getting their career going. You know, I bought my first property when I was 19 years old and was offered $20,000 more than I paid for it shortly after that. And it was very fortunate for me that I was made aware of the power of real estate so early. And so, you know, I started to feel like I started sounding like an old man because I there and 40 and under. I'm trying to assess myself in the same way as maybe I would tell you to do it. I dropped out of high school. College wasn't even an option for me. We didn't talk about college. Nobody said, what are you going to do when you go to college? What are you going to take? I mean, college, it really, even to this day, college was just something that really wasn't discussed, and I never thought about it. I wanted to get to work and start making money, you know, using my hands, construction, and that's what I did. And there's a fortune to be made. If you know how to use your hands, believe me, you got to jump on just about everybody watching this video right now. Not that many people know how to use your hands. In fact, I had I have a mentorship survey, and you have to, you know, I look for what you've got. What am I starting with as a mentee? What am I starting with you? Because I want you to make me look good, you know. But back to the question, how do I start? Well, if you plan on becoming, you know, you gotta have a passion for something, right? So, you know, and this sounds biased, right? But start with reading my book. If that doesn't turn you on, it's not for you. I guarantee you, it's not for you. You got to find something you have a passion for, because when you have a passion for something, you'll stick to it. At that stick-to-itiveness, right? Stick-to-itiveness. It's that ability to keep working for something without any guarantee of rewards. You know, people that love acting, and I mean, they do it and they love it, and you know, they don't just, you know, they're hopeful, and chances are they're not going to make it. This is a very tough business. But again, if you do something you love your whole life, you never work a day, right? Well, ideally, you do something you love that pays really well, and that's why I love real estate so much. So I started 19, and I went to work for people. First job, throwing buckets or concrete into the front end bucket of a front end loader, hot sun, just dying, and I was happy, you know. And actually, that wasn't my first job. That was my first job out of high school. Prior to that, I worked while I was in high school. I would go set up trailers. There was trailers in my area. In fact, I lived in a trailer park, right? And AV, Antelope Valley Trailer Transport. My best friend actually, his parents owned that. I worked with him. My best friend actually got killed. You know, when I was 15 and he was 18. So I lost my best buddy when I was 15 years old. And so high school really was like going back to high school after losing my best friend was something like, man, it just wasn't the same. You know, I didn't want to do it. And I don't know that I would have stayed one way or another. I wanted to work. And so, but I quit and I went to work for his family, and I think I was making $4 an hour, or $3 an hour. Not very much, but you know, I was happy to get. I remember getting a 10-cent an hour raise, and I was like, yeah, this is the wrong business for me. But I got out of school, and I think they paid me $6 an hour to pick up concrete. I was a hard worker, you know. And then 4 days later, I quit because another job I had applied for at a cabinet for being a cabinet maker. You know, at the you know, see, we don't have any talent. You learn, right? You learn from people. That's mentorship, right? That's what I offer that's what I offer with my real estate. I have a mentorship. I wasn't even leading up to it, but the fact is, I was, you know, there's journeyman carpenters, and then there's apprentice. Starting as an apprentice is a wonderful thing. You know, when you're a carpenter, you learn from a guy that knows more than you. And same thing, cabinet maker. I went to the cabinet shop. First, I was milling. That means I'm ripping wood, just ripping wood all day. That's when one of my thumbs is shorter than the other. Cut it off on a table saw. But I was good for math. The reason they hired me is the guy quickly realized that I was better at math than he was, and he was pretty good. But so they call me and say, hey, you know what? We think you got some skills with the math. We could use that. Maybe you could even draw plans. That's like, whoa, drawing plans right off the bat. That's pretty high praise. And anyways, I went to work and I ripped, I would work 12 hours a day. I was happy. I remember the boss coming to me and saying, "Hey, would you cash your checks?" Because my overhead was so low. I spent $100 a month to live in a little house, actually $125 on a teeny tiny house that I rented, and then I dropped down to $100 a month when I went to the trailer next door. So keeping your overhead low is key, right? Make money, work long hours, and not have any time to spend it. Okay, it doesn't sound like fun, and I know a lot of you don't want to hear, but listen, consider this. I've been telling you for the last 2 years. Go get the job. Go take that job. Forget the stimulus. Get the job and get the skills. And this is the day that I was talking about right now. This is the day where the stimulus is dried up, and people that just laxed and didn't take the jobs or quit their jobs in some instances. Well, those people that came in and took their place, they now have the skills that those people had 2 years ago. Now they have them today. And guess what? They're going to keep the job because the boss, he appreciates loyalty. He appreciates dependability. And so when people are going to ditch for a check, a stimulus check of all things, your name is mud, that employer forever. And so, again, work hard, get some skills, try to be a complete asset to your boss. You want to be like very valuable to him, because believe me, listen, I've employed hundreds of people, and when I look at somebody, if they're not pulling their weight, if they're not making me money, I look at them as like a little pile of cash that I'm paying. I mean, they start to look like money to me that's being wasted, and I don't ever want to waste money. And there's some people, I've had some guys that were kind of lazy and didn't work hard, but they answered the phone and they could put up with bullshit and complaints. And I'm not talking about this business, I'm talking about other businesses. So this person had the quality of patience, something I don't really have, to be quite honest. And so I've got somebody with patience. They can listen to somebody, an upset customer, and talk to them. That's a quality. To have patience like that is a quality. I wish I had more patience. I wish I did. So again, if you have patience, if you're somebody that's patient, that's a quality. Don't think it's not. That is a quality, and that'll serve you in business. That'll serve you in money making in all kinds of ways. Now let's talk about other things. So you become an asset in different ways. For me, my boss, I was just, when you're a carpenter's helper, plumber's helper, drywall, anybody that you help, you should very quickly be able to understand when they ask you for something. Hey, I need, pretty soon you ought to know that he's going to reach for a pry bar. He's going to reach for the skill saw. He's going to reach for, you ought to be able to see what he's doing. And after a day of him doing different cuts and things that he's doing, you should be able to anticipate the tool that he needs in his hand. That's a good helper. That's a good worker. And so all of a sudden it's like he goes, oh, you already got it. Oh, that impresses the boss. And it shows that you actually have some skills already. And then next thing, listen, it's always scary when you're teaching somebody to cut a piece of wood. You're afraid you're going to, believe me, I've been on job sites where somebody cut 4 fingers off and blew them across like an auditorium. One finger they found like 3 weeks later sitting up in the rafters, just drying out. And I had another guy and this son of a bitch sued me, cut the tip of his finger off, and I'm looking all over for his finger, and I find it in the sliding glass door track. And I end up dropping it in my coffee cup, taking him to the hospital. Doctor takes a look at it and just throws it in the waste, scrubs on his finger, sews the tip over. And it's just a true thing that happened. But it was, again, I would never hire that guy. Also, he ended up trying to sue me for lifetime disability, as well as the guy that he really worked for. I just let him borrow my saw. So where I'm going with this is it's simple. Think about the kind of helper that you would want for yourself. When you hire somebody, you want somebody bright and smart, can anticipate the tools you need. If you want to be if you're a computer geek, or you want to be a software engineer, or computer sciences, that sort of thing, then you're going to have to go get an education for that. But it doesn't mean you can't dive into a book. Some of the best and brightest never went to college. They're self-taught. I've got some incredibly bright people that work for me. And, I'm talking about people that I sub stuff to as well. But So I'm just going to make it simple, and then I'll cut this short. Look, get some skills, whatever they are. You know, I've sat down and had a drink and talking to a bartender, and I'm going, what the fuck are you doing this for? What you're doing right now, you're a great salesman, you're a good personable person. You should be a real estate agent. You should be a salesman over at Best Buy or something. Get in, you know, if you be a salesman, you get a piece of the action. Real estate is just much bigger. You know, I had a stepmother, it's actually my dad's old girl, she was a really true stepmom, but she kind of was to me. And she was a waitress for most of her life. And she said that when she was younger, she said, you know, whether I waitressed at a cafe or at the country club, the only difference were the tips were bigger. It was the same shitty job, just paid a lot more at the country club. And so that's what you do. You go where the money is. And, you know, there's no reason, you know, if you're going to work at a bar, work at a high, you know, if you're going to be a bartender, be a bartender at an expensive place, or a place where, you know, people pay or tip well. You can determine what that is. Bottom line is, don't expect to get anything from anybody for nothing. Nobody cares about you. Believe me. Listen, nobody cares enough about you to give up their life and take care of you. I mean, you might do that for your kids, but I'm just telling you, in general, you're on your own. You're on your own. And so you better think for yourself, and you better start planning, because that's what people don't do. People that are upside down right now, they don't plan. You have to plan. Listen, it's just math. That's probably one of the reasons I'm so damn rich and so smart. And I say that because I am haunted by numbers. Everything's numbers. Anytime, it doesn't matter what it is. Anything that comes up to me, I'm doing the math on how long it's going to take to pay it off. What am I paying for it? How many miles per gallon? How, you know, all that stuff. It just comes instantly because I'm a math person. And believe me, what do I think about a lot? What happens when I can't work? How do I take care of myself the rest of my life? How do I take care of my 4 kids if I have a heart attack? You know, this is stuff I thought about 20, 30 years ago. And these are the kinds of things. You got to think ahead. Think ahead, plan ahead. But number one, while you're young, let me tell you, you got energy, you got opportunities, you're like a sponge, you can absorb quickly. You know, just don't waste it on social media and video games. And like, you're watching this, this is good, because this is information, this is education. I consider this education. People will stand here and watch horseshit that isn't going to make them a penny. And they watch it for hours and hours and days on end. And they're going nowhere. And believe me, it's not just people that are 18, 19, 20 years old. People that are 30, 40 years old. They just wrap themselves into the stupidest shit that doesn't pay anything. For whatever reason, they have a keen sense of not thinking about the future. And to be quite honest, I had one of the greatest dads in the world. But he wasn't great with math. He wasn't great with planning. I love him to death, and I miss him dearly. But he would stop. We would be in a grocery store, and we would be like on our way to somebody's for dinner. And he would stop at the magazine rack. And he would start reading, and I would be begging him to leave, and he would blow an hour or two just reading this shit. I don't even know what he was reading. Magazines on all kinds of topics. My dad knew everything about the stars, you know, astronomy. You know, he was a very smart guy and very, really mechanically inclined like crazy. I got a lot of his mechanical inclinations, but he had no sense of time. He was very trusting. I call it the G. Willikers gene. I'm going to have to do a video sometime on the G. Willikers gene. G. Willikers genes is, to me, is somebody that's like, oh, gosh, G. Willikers. That's the kind of people that buy the bullshit from fake gurus. Like, well, G. Willikers. Oh, golly, I think I'll go ahead and do that. They're too trusting. They can't discern bullshit from education, from real stuff. They want to believe it's art, or they're just stupid and lazy. And it's like, yeah, I want to know that I can get rich quick. Yeah, Bitcoin. Buy some Bitcoin. I'm going to hang on to this for a year, and I'm going to be a millionaire. Look at the what's his name, Dogecoin kid, Dogecoin millionaire. They call him. Just the guy still. He's acting like a crack addict, just waiting for he's still waiting for it to go up. He's lost like $1.5 million, and he's still like, I'm hanging on. He's hanging on like he's holding on for a cause. He's like a drug addict looking for a better high, and he just keeps waiting for the drug to kick in. He's waiting for Dogecoin to go up, and it's a joke. Anyhow, I'm going to take a look here, and then I'm going to go buy a very expensive bottle of wine, and I'm going to go drink it. Let's see. Hey, Richard, an employee is an investment to an employer. It's either a good investment or it's not. Well, but it's a foolish investment if you keep that employee, right, Richard? Believe me, I don't let anybody slack or stay around. Listen, I remember, and I've had this conversation with more than one people. I said, listen, people say, if somebody out of a corporate, a corporate structure, right? They go, well, I'd like my evaluation. And I'm like, hey, no news is good news. Believe me, it's a good thing I'm not talking to you, because it'd probably be to cut you loose. I mean, not that I don't give praise. I do give praise. But some people have this corporate mentality, like you automatically get a raise every 6 months or every 3 months or whatever. I don't know what's going through their head. Anyways, but yeah, so I don't hang on to anybody. They got to carry their weight. I'll give somebody a chance. I had somebody, I had a drywall. He didn't show up. Second day, doing mud for. I'm like, he's gone. It's like noon. I said, fuck, he's done. So he's never coming back. And he called me up. I said, yeah, what the fuck? And he says, well, I'm sorry. He goes, my phone. I can't remember if he said he lost. No, he didn't say he lost one. He said he lost his service. I'm like, well, so what? Turn on the phone, get my phone number. But he had a good reason for that too. Why he couldn't come up with my phone number. And it was actually believable. I don't remember what the excuse was, but believe me, I was like not going to have any of it. But he actually did convince me. And guess what? I'm glad he did, because he's been doing a hell of a good job. So Zach P. wrote, hey Tom, I bought and read the book over a couple of days. It was great, very insightful, without any fluff. I look forward to finding some deals with your strategy. Good for you. Listen, I've got a bunch of millionaires now. A bunch of people that made 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000. Many people have made $500,000. This is real. This is real. This is my life. This is how I started. It's 100% real. And believe me, the people that are out there telling me selling courses, they don't know shit about real estate. Grant Cardone doesn't know shit about real estate. And I'm talking about on the level that would be important to you. Yeah, he can go buy a $40 million building. Big fucking deal. He's buying it with other people's money. Same with Chris Crone. He's buying houses with other people's money. Believe me, you get in the Chris Crone crap, and all of a sudden, your email will be on fire with, hey, you got any equity? Hey, you got any equity? Looking for the equity in your home. Don't fall for that bullshit. Use your head. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you're smart. And listen, ask good questions. Ask tough questions. Go into the comments. Put me on the spot. Ask a question. But guess what? You get this book, and you'll be asking much more intelligent questions than ever. Hey, by the way, I thought I was running that video. There was I've got a video where it's called BRRR, B-R-R-R thing. That's something I've been doing for 40 years. I thought I was going to run at 7 o'clock tonight, but it's tomorrow night. So I wanted to fill in with this because I was anticipating talking to y'all. Hey, Richard, thanks again for popping in. Good to see you here, buddy. Everybody, again, like, subscribe, hang out. I'll never lie to you. Anything you got about real estate, I still take an email or two if somebody really needs help on something about the book. But oh God, you know what, dude? I'm closing up. I'm saying goodbye right now. I can't take that question now. Commercial comps are easy though. You just watch a few more of my videos. I look at LoopNet, look at different things like that, and it's an easy thing to do. It's just math. Anyways, you guys take care, and I'll see you soon.